If you love the NFL, then you need to subscribe to us here at Chat Sports. Free coverage all year long, both in season, preseason, and the offseason as well. Hit that big red button and join us for more free NFL videos. I'm Tom Downey. Let's break down the latest on the NFL, and there's been a lot of quarterback talk. That makes sense, right, early in the year. ESPN, and I can't believe we're doing it again in the year 2022 of our Lord, suggested the Cowboys should explore signing Colin Kaepernick. That was Stephen A. Smith's pitch that, hey, the Cowboys should look into it. Let's break down what Stephen A. Smith said, what Michael Irvin argued against him, and the actual truth of what's going on here. Stephen A. Smith had this to say. It will never happen, in my opinion, but might want to make that call to Colin Kaepernick. Might want to find out, now he ain't been around, but he's a playmaker with his legs, who's available. Now, I don't think that will happen because this is the state of Texas and the patriotic individuals that they pride themselves on being since the whole Kaepernick narrative was hijacked. Jerry Jones is not going to let it get in the way of business. But I would think about it. I would say that. Now, Michael Irvin, of course, Cowboy legend himself, had a very different take. Before everybody grabs and tries to run with it, let's stop with this Kaepernick stuff. Let's just stop. Colin Kaepernick's been out of football for 5 years. Come on. Let's stop trying to resurrect Colin Kaepernick and thinking he's going to come in and resurrect the football team. I'll take my chances with Cooper Rush. I saw Cooper Rush win a football game last year. That's all I'm saying. Look, Michael was right about Kaepernick. I am sorry that Kaepernick got traded. And make no mistake, he did. The NFL blackballed Kaepernick. It was ridiculous. He was absolutely worthy of being in the NFL. Kaepernick, make no mistake about it, got screwed by the NFL as a whole. Unfortunately, that was a long time ago. It has been 5+ years. He turns 35 in November. You want a run-first QB at age 35 to come back and play football for you? And the last time we saw him, he really wasn't that great. Raiders worked him out, gave him a shot. Maybe that workout went well. Maybe it didn't. They did not end up signing him in the end. Kaepernick got screwed. Move on. Find the new slant. Find a different quarterback to pine after who was once a big household name. It doesn't make sense. Kaepernick never should have been blackballed out of the NFL. It was a ridiculous outcome that he did happen. That's why they settled that lawsuit, because the NFL knew that they had done some bad things there. But it's 2022. It doesn't make sense at this point. So make your predictions here. Will Kaepernick ever play again in the NFL? Y for yes, N for no. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So if an ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there, Y or N. To be clear, which is kind of what both Steven and Michael said, this is not going to happen. The Cowboys would never sign Colin Kaepernick, nor should they, because, again, he hasn't played football in years. The update on Dak Prescott, by the way, if we believe Jerry Jones, which, maybe we do, maybe we don't, Cowboys not going to put Dak Prescott on injured reserve as they think he can return sooner than initially thought. Now, there will need to be some moves made by the Cowboys because right now they have no healthy QBs on their active roster. That is not a misspeak. Cooper Rush and Will Grier are both still on the practice squad, which, I guess makes some sense, but you got to make some changes there. Now, there have been some betting odds on which QB the Cowboys will end up adding. Some interesting names on here, right? Garrett Gilbert, 4-1, because he was a former Cowboy. Actually makes some sense. Trade for Nick Foles or Teddy Bridgewater or Gardner Minshew. You can go sign Ryan Fitzpatrick or Cam Newton. The much-hyped Jimmy G trade rumors. Bring back Nucci Maine himself, Ben DiNucci. Mason Rudolph trade. Mike Glennon all out there. They're all long shots because I don't think the Cowboys go after any of those guys, although I will make note. The Cowboys went from being neck and neck in the betting odds in the NFC East with the Philadelphia Eagles to being way down there alongside the Giants and Commanders. The Eagles are your new betting favorite in the division. You can bet on all kinds of props, in-game action, spreads, money line, point totals. They got you covered, BetUS does. And they're just going to give you free money. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code NFL Daily gets you a 125% deposit bonus. Got to put down at least $100. That's chatsports.com/bet. Promo code is NFL Daily. Let's talk some Tom Brady. I'll call it drama here. I thought some very interesting comments, made by Brady and also by his wife, Gisele. And Brady, who, again, as we all remember, retired for a month and then didn't then return because that was what happened and was still pretty weird there. I am of the belief that he retired, Gisele scheduled a family vacation or whatever, and maybe Brady had some more surgery done there. And then Brady says, I want to come back after a month. He says, fine, but you better come on this vacation or else. And Tom did not want to find out what the or else was as it relates to what Gisele was threatening, although we can read between lines. Here's what Gisele said about Tom and his future and whatnot. Quote, this is a very violent sport, and I have my children, and I would like him to be more present. I have definitely had those conversations with him over and over again, but ultimately, I feel that everybody has to make a decision that works for them. He needs to follow his joy, too. I've done my part, which is to be there for Tom. I moved to Boston. I focus on creating a cocoon and a loving environment for my children to grow up in and to be there supporting him and his dreams. Seeing my children succeed and become the beautiful little humans that they are, seeing him succeed, being fulfilled in my career, it makes me happy. At this point in my life, I feel like I've done a good job on that. Now, as a married man, I know how to read between the lines of things when maybe your woman is not happy with you. She wants him to retire. Can we go back to that first quote, by the way, Jack, just real quick? She wants him done. I don't think she's happy. The first part of this line, or the back half, I would like him to be more present. I have definitely had those conversations with him over and over again. Folks, when your girl's talking about you being present and over and over again, yeah, she ain't happy. She wants him to retire. I have no doubts about that. He's 45 years old. I'm sure she wants her husband around more and more time with the kids because, look, media, it's nowhere near as much of a time commitment as actually being a football player is, but I know that, from football season till you get to go to the preseason off-season stuff, you're not around that much. There's a lot of hours committed from that standpoint. So that's what's wild, or not wild, but my takeaway there. Gisele does not want Tom playing football anymore. She wants him to retire. So what do you think? Is this Tom Brady's last year in the NFL? Type in 1 for yes, it is, or type in 2 for no, it is not. Let's talk some trade rumors now. NFL trade deadline still I call it month and a half away. Denzel Mims, as we know, or at least we should know, requested a trade in the preseason. The Jets reportedly wanted a 4th-round pick. Now, Mims was inactive in Week 1. He's still buried on that depth chart. A pretty big sign to me that they're open to trading him. So what do you think ends up happening? Will the Jets trade away Denzel Mims? Type in T for trade or type in K for keep. Let me know in the comment section, T or K. Look, Mims is a 2nd-round pick out of Baylor. I understand why people have interest in him. That is understandable, logical, etc. To me, here's the issue. He hasn't been productive. The Jets allegedly wanted a 4th-round pick. Now, I've also heard it could have been a conditional 5th that becomes a 4th. I don't think anyone wants to trade a 4th-round pick for that can't be active on game days. That has 31 career catches and didn't do anything at all last year. I think that's very much overvaluing your own talent. If the price drops or a team gets desperate, then I think Denzel gets dealt. I think he is definitely a name to keep an eye out for, though, throughout the NFL trade deadline build-up and day of. Finally, some news on various injuries around the NFL. Bad news here on Justin Simmons. He's been placed on IR. That happened earlier today. Anthony Harris onto the practice squad. Saying basically promoted from the practice squad to juggle all those roster spots. He's going to miss some time. He'd missed something like a dozen or a half dozen snaps in like 3 years or something ridiculous. So very rare injury for Justin Simmons. Hopefully he's back soon. He will miss a minimum, though, of 4 games, if not more. Jamal Adams, next up here, the quad injury, which also Pete Carroll's called a knee, so not really sure exactly what it is, but we're going to go with quad here. He's going to miss a lot of time. This may be a season-ending one, and unfortunately that trade looks worse and worse every time Adams gets hurt and every time the defense does not deploy him properly. George Kittle, once again, missed practice today on Wednesday with that groin injury. We'll see if he's back out there. That's a bit of a question mark, and that Niners offense is much better when one of the best tight ends, if not the best all-around tight end, is actually healthy. Keenan Allen, as the Chargers play the Chiefs in Week 2 on Thursday Night Football, he is out, declared out already with a hamstring injury. That's a big loss for L.A. and might help swing it in favor of KC. That's even if it's worth 1 or 2 points. That's a lot in what should be a thrilling game. J.C. Jackson is questionable in that matchup. He's still battling that ankle issue. The Chiefs, meanwhile, out without their kicker, Harrison Butker, who had the ankle injury. Justin Reed kicked off. They did, by the way, add Matt Amendola, so it's not going to be Justin Reed this week. Then Butker returned. Now he's out again. We'll see how much time he ends up missing, but a big blow there. Chiefs special teams, Chargers offense, and maybe their defense as well. Some other stuff that popped up today on the first day of injury reports, except for KC and LA, of course. DeAndre Swift has an ankle issue, did not participate at today's practice. That is one worth monitoring. It's only Wednesday. Check in on Thursday and, more importantly, Friday with what their participation is. But if you can't go, it's all hands on deck with Jamal Williams' season, especially for those of you in fantasy. DeForest Buckner popped up today with a hip. He did not practice either. Again, it's Wednesday. Keep an eye on that. One more good thing, Mac Jones. Back is also back. A little double meaning there. Had apparently some back spasms in Week 1. Seems like he's going to be able to go as the Patriots' offense is in a bit of an awkward spot with how things are built overall. That is it for our NFL news and rumors roundup here. If you made it to the end, you're a real one. So I want to see who the real ones are. Type real one for me in the comments section.